Okay, so welcome to Greg Rollett. And I know, Greg, you have a roller coaster the last 1.5 year. You have created more products, a new company, a new thing. So I know you are a busy man. So thank you so much for joining and showing up.
Thanks for having me back. Right, like it's really cool when you get invited back to things. Right, like I know I've talked to your mastermind group before, and we've gotten to talk a lot. But it's really just cool to be invited back, and hopefully we can top the last time.
Yeah. So for people who don't know you, can you just introduce yourself with what is your expertise or what you are doing and what is your passion?
Yeah, so the fastest history lesson ever is that in a prior life, about 20 years ago, I was a rapper, if you can imagine that, right? And I was a touring musician here in the United States, and making my living going from dive bar to dive bar to dive bar, performing in front of crowds. And I needed to find a way to build an audience, right? Same thing as you as an entrepreneur, you got to find an audience for your products. I had to find an audience for my music, and we tried everything, right? Like no one wanted to put us on the radio. No one wanted to put us on TV. MTV wasn't giving us, we were nobodies to them. So how do you get people's attention? And so I've spent the last now 20 years really just focusing on how do we get attention to great products, great services, great people. And that's taken me all over the world. I've gotten to do amazing things like film documentaries. I've hosted reality TV shows for Amazon Prime. And now I really help entrepreneurs at ambitious.com to do three things. I help them to perform at their peak, to produce legendary work, and ultimately profit in all areas of their life, from obviously their financial profits, but also like you should wake up every day loving what you do. And we were talking about this before we went live. COVID rocked a lot of people, right? They can't travel, they can't see their family, but we have to find that joy in everyday life. And, whether that's finding new routines, new habits, new hobbies, I think that's a big piece of it, because it's easy for us as entrepreneurs to just put our head down, and especially on the internet, right? Like we could just be on a computer for 18 hours and not see the outside world. And we got to find some joy, some happiness, and some ambitions inside and outside of the office. So yeah, from a rapper in a rock band to traveling the world to helping entrepreneurs use media to grow their business. It's been a fun 20 years, my friend.
Yeah. So if you look at let's say the last 1.5 year, what have been the biggest change when it comes to creating media or creating content or video content on the things? Well, like what people doesn't know about, what they should know, but they doesn't see or know about.
Well, I think what happened is everything accelerated, right? Because everything, whether you had live events or you were doing networking or doing different things to grow your business pre-COVID, everything changed to now being all digital, all virtual, all, social media and digital marketing. And so a lot of business owners got kind of shell shocked into, well, now I have to do this. I think 18 months ago, 2 years, they kind of knew that they needed to do this, right? I need to put myself out there. I need to be blogging or creating videos or being on social media, to now I have no choice but to do it. And I think some of the ones that jumped in head first and said, I'm going to figure this out, are the ones that were able to be successful over the last 18 months. And then I think there's a lot of business owners who are still struggling. They don't know what to talk about. They don't know what to say. They're still fixated with the gear. Well, I don't have the cool mic that Peter has, or I don't have the cool studio that Greg had, or they have all these doubts around them, as opposed to the person who just says, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to put this out there. And so this thing has been the most beneficial thing in my life, in creating my own videos and my own content. 18 months ago, we had, a multi-million-dollar studio and facility. We don't have that anymore, right? We found out that with COVID, no one was jumping on airplanes and spending a lot of money to come to a studio to film videos. And so our whole business model had to change. The way that I filmed my own content had to change. And I started to realize some of the same struggles that other people have, is because they're like, well, look at Peter's video. It looks great. He's got this great studio behind him. He's got this fancy microphone. I can't do that, right? And I started to have some of those same doubts in my head. And I was the video guy, right? Like I've been teaching video for, about 10 years online now, but I had some of those privileges. I had a film guy. I had a camera guy. I had an editor. I had a studio that I could go to, that I just flick on the lights and I looked great. Now, as you guys can see me, I'm filming in my bedroom, right? Like that's a big difference from $1 million studio to bedroom. And so I had to become comfortable using this thing. And the great part about it is that everyone is using that thing, And so it's not like you're the only person, using Zoom, using your phone, using these tools that we have in front of us. And the world became accustomed to things like you and I are doing right now, Zoom interviews. People became really comfortable doing video chats, and the world caught up very, very quickly. So I think the biggest thing over the last 18 months is that, you've had 18 months now, right? Like, this didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen last month. It didn't happen this year. You and I are recording this, towards the, almost the end of 2021 already, right? You guys have had plenty of time to figure this out. So now I think more than anything, it's a mindset thing that they haven't said, you know what? I need to jump in. I need to do this. But there's something mentally holding them back. They don't like the way they look. They don't like their appearance. They're scared of what they're going to say. They don't know what to say. And that's what's holding them back, because they've had enough time, right? We've all, if you never did Zoom 18 months ago, you've probably been on more Zooms than you ever thought you were going to do in your entire life, And, people are now getting comfortable with the technology. I believe now it's a mindset thing to get them prepared to be on camera. And to me, that's the biggest change. Those who jumped in and said, I'm going to figure this out, and it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to get better every single day, are the ones that are seeing success. Again, you and I were just chatting, like 75 hard. I know you just completed that. I bet day 1, it was terrible and you hated it, right? Like, it was awful. But day 30, day 40, day 75, now you got a lot better. You became a lot more confident. Well, the same is true with media. The same is true with video. The first video you create, it's going to suck. It's not going to be very good. The second video, hopefully, is a little better. The 10th video, now you're getting good. 20th video, 30th video, now it's easy. Now it's part of, a routine or a habit that you do every day. So yeah, and I know I was a little all over the place there, but I think the biggest thing is that you've had plenty of time to adjust and adapt. Now it's about you kind of overcoming some of the mental blocks that you have in order to get out there, so that people can discover you. And if they discover you, they can learn more about your programs, products, and services. If they know about your programs, products, and services, they can hire you. If they don't know you exist, they can't buy from you. Like, it's really, I know that I made it sound really simple, but it's true. If I don't know who Peter is, or I don't know who Johnny is, or who Jenny is, how can they buy from you? And so I think that's something that you really got to look in the mirror and put some focus on right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you're saying, because when I talk with entrepreneurs that we are serving in our community and our tribe, they say like, oh, I have no problem with Zoom anymore, but I can't do a Facebook Live, or I can't put a video out there, I can't do that. And it's like you said, I had this thing, and this is true story for me also. If I look back into 2010, someone told me, never go on a stage again, Peter-Erik, because you're so terrible. It's not your skills. You can do sales, you can do marketing, you can teach things, but never go on a stage again. And I had the same problem when I started with a camera. In the start, Maria needed to stand behind the camera so I can look her in the eyes, because I couldn't speak to a camera. And I had one coming to me for like 2 weeks ago. She said something like that. Hey, I saw a video from you for 2012. And it's true, you was terrible. But it's like, so what kind of advice do you have for these people who are still struggling, still thinking that I cannot do it? And how do you get over this step that you start to put it out there?
So the biggest switch that I can encourage everyone to make is to make it about the audience, not about you. That if you're really here to help people, and I know you have a lot of coaches, consultants, and people that they're doing this because they want to help their audience get better, right? If you're a relationship coach, you want to help people have a better relationship. If you're a fitness coach, you want to help people get into the best shape of their life. If you're a business coach, you want to help these business owners to succeed in the face of adversity. Think about them, right? That's when it becomes a little bit easier to jump on camera, because you're not worried about one hair being out of place or the lighting not being perfect. You're here to serve. When you put all the pressure on you, how I look, how my lighting is, how my microphone is, that's ego. That's all on you. You're not thinking about your audience. You shouldn't be doing this for you. We're not doing this because, like, I don't wake up every day saying, I got to film video because I'm Greg and I'm I wake up and get on video because I say, man, there's people that need to hear this today. There's people that I can help today. There's people that, if I don't film this video, they're going to struggle through a challenge that they have that I can help them to overcome. And now there's no excuse for me not to get on camera. But I think people make it about them. The bad lighting, bad shirt. I'm going to wait till I lose 20 pounds. I'm going to wait till 75 hard's over. And I got my rock hard abs and now I'm going to film the video. Like, They just have all of these excuses because it's about them. That's ego. You need to put your mission above your ego. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about, is that the people who fail to put their message out there, it's because their ego is greater than their mission. Their ego's up here. I'm scared of what people are going to say. People are going to leave mean comments. I don't like the way that I look. That's all ego above your mission. The second step in this equation is when your ego is equal to your mission. And I think this is a very scary place to be, because this is when you say things that are just plain Jane, that are just vanilla, that are just, the same thing that everyone's saying. This is akin to like you go on Instagram and someone shares like a Brian Tracy quote or a Zig Ziglar quote. Like you get everything you want if you help other people get what they want, and you put Zig. Does that help you get clients? Like if you're a coach, does you posting a Zig Ziglar quote help you to get a client today? No, right? No. It's just someone just scrolls right past it. It's only when your mission gets up here and your ego's down here that everything changes, because now you care about your audience. I'm going to help somebody through the camera today. And again, replace camera with podcasts, replace it with a summit like you're doing, replace it with a blog if you love writing, or a newsletter, whatever that media is. It's a medium for getting your mission out into the world to help and serve others. And when you have that mindset, now the fear goes away. The anxiety goes away, because all you care about is the person on the other end of the camera. And then it's also not about numbers. I think this is the other thing that gets to a lot of people in the beginning, is they're like, but Greg, I only got 50 views of my video. And I'm like, cool. That was 50 human beings that stopped what they were doing today to watch your video. I know some of you who are watching this right now, if you were allowed to, you would jump on a plane and fly halfway around the world to speak on stage in front of 50 people. But on video, 50 people is a failure. That doesn't make any sense to me. You had 50 human beings who you got to help today. And maybe that 50 turns into 100. That's going to turn into 500. That's going to turn into 1,000. How great of an impact is that? I had a client I was just talking to literally yesterday on a coaching call. He's like, Greg, but my email list is, 10,000 people and only 1,000 people opened it. That's miserable. And I go, you mean you got to talk to 1,000 people today? 1,000 people opened your email and read the message that you had to say. You would like jump over like rocks and cliffs and rivers and canyons to speak to a room of 1,000 people, and you got to do that for free. So first thing, put your mission above your ego. Second, every human being counts, because especially for like coaches and consultants, you guys don't need 1,000 clients. You might need 5 or 10 or 20. And if you're getting 50 people to watch your video, if 1 or 2 of them become a client, isn't that a home run? Like that's a huge win. So those two mindset shifts, when it comes to content, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to putting yourself out there, are just really big for coaches and consultants. And that's how I think about it. And if you make those switches, I think you're going to get much, much more confident in whatever medium that you decide to create with.
Why do you think people are so up to thinking about what is not working instead of what you're talking about now, what is working? You talked about the 50 or 1,000 you reached, and not the 9,000 you didn't reach, or not the 1,000. Like, so why are we adapting ourselves so hard and not seeing that something is working?
Business is hard, and we want instant results, right? Like we live in a world of Amazon Prime where I order something, I make a microphone recommendation while we're doing this interview. You ordered on Amazon and it shows up tomorrow. People assume that their business should be the same way, right? They want to be a 6-figure coach. They want to hit their first 7 figures, and they want to do it in 30 days. Guys, that's if it happens, kudos to you. You're the unicorn. That's unrealistic, right? Like if you're building a real business, which you all should be wanting to build, you got to lay the foundation, and you're going to build it 1 fan at a time, 2 fans at a time, 5 fans at a time, 10 fans at a time, 20 fans at a time. And it's a build over time. Can you fast track that process through, things like investing in advertising and joint ventures and some things like that? Of course, but we got to lay the foundation and build a real business. And real businesses, they take time to develop. And we have this short-term mentality of like, I put up a Facebook ad today and I don't have a 6-figure business tomorrow, right? Like that's what people really think. And, and we all go down that road. The other side, I mentioned it really quickly, is that this is hard, right? Like most people, you and I, a mentor of both of ours, Todd Brown, talks about it all the time. It's like, most, even pro marketers, every campaign that we create isn't a win. Is not a home run. Every ad that we create is not a win. It's not a home run. We go through a lot of, strikeouts, a lot of bad campaigns, a lot of bad ads to find the one that puts us on the map. But the problem is we only see the home run. We only see the funnel that got us the 2 Comma Club award or whatever you want to put in. We only see that. We don't see the 30 failures. We don't see the, the late nights grabbing your computer and shaking it because, Facebook's banning you again. And so this allure of instant gratification, we need to get rid of that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have wins along the way, right? Like you can have a win of, all right, I'm going to make 3 videos this week. That's a win. If you accomplish that, if you film them and you put them out, it's looking at process goals instead of outcome goals. The process of, 75 hard is a great example of that. Those are all process goals. You do the 2 workouts, you do, I don't know the whole thing that's in it, but like, it's just a process. And if you follow the process, the outcome comes at the end, right? But people do 75 hard and they want 6-pack abs after 3 days. Like, how come I don't have a 6-pack after 3 days? Because that's not how the program works. Follow the process. I talk about Gary. A lot of people know Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V online. What people see is they see him now 10, 15 years in the game. What they don't see is Wine Library episode 1, where we had 7 people watch that episode, where it's dark and you can't even see his face, where he doesn't know what he's doing and talking to camera. They didn't see episode 2 or 3 or 4, all the way up to, guess what? Episode 1000 of Wine Library TV before he became Gary V, the social media guy. 1,000 episodes to get to where he is. All they see is him today. And they're like, how come I'm not Gary V after a week of being on Instagram? They didn't see the work that people put in. So it's not an overnight process, but follow the process and the outcome will get there.
What kind of content works best today?
They all work. Writing works. Blogging still works. You know the problem? Most people suck at writing. So if you suck at writing, don't write. Right? Podcasting works, but you have to come unique. You can't have the same show as everybody else and interview the same guests as everybody else and think that you're going to break through. Video still works. But if you're scared to death and you're sweating and shaking every time you do video, maybe video's not for you. So what you need to do is really look inside and say, how do I like to communicate? How do I best resonate with other people? Where am I the most comfortable? Do I really enjoy writing? Then maybe blogging or a newsletter or trying to be a syndicated columnist somewhere, that's for you. If you love having conversations with people and bringing out the best in other people, maybe podcasting is a great medium for you. If you, like myself, and I know you're getting much better at this too, if you don't mind being on camera and you can talk and have that relationship with the camera, then video is for you. So find the one that works best for you. They all work, right? Like in a given day, I read emails, I read blogs, I watch videos, I listen to podcasts. Like we as consumers consume all those different types of media, but we consume the best in those mediums. If somebody's terrible on camera, I'm not going to watch their videos. So you need to figure out what's going to be best for you, given your own unique skill set in communication, and then go all in on it. Then the second kind of question, you didn't ask it, but the second piece of it is then what platform, right? So if I'm going to do video, should I do YouTube or should I do Facebook or should I do TikTok or should I do Snapchat or, whatever other media is out there. And again, it goes back to what platform do you enjoy spending time on? Because you're going to have to spend time on that platform interacting and commenting and understanding the little nuances between the platforms. Like for myself, I know with our new supplement line, TikTok would be an amazing platform for that. I know it would be, but I hate TikTok. Like I don't enjoy going on TikTok and watching the videos. I don't enjoy the community there. It's not for me. So guess what? I don't spend time on TikTok, even though it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. There's a million opportunities, but the opportunity that's good for Greg is Facebook and YouTube. I enjoy YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTubers. I know the nuances. I know that they should be longer form content, kind of personal, vlogish style. I know Facebook, how to create really good 30 to 60 second engaging ads. Like those are the platforms that I just know and understand. So it's not that Facebook is better than Twitter, is better than this. What are the platforms that you enjoy? There's enough of an audience on all of them, right? There's like 1 billion something people on Facebook, but guess what? There's 1 billion something people on YouTube. It doesn't mean one is better than the other or worse than the other. Again, it's a little bit of self-discovery. What media do you enjoy creating? Do you enjoy writing, talking, or shooting videos? And then what platform is going to be the best for you? Do you love email? Well, you should probably build an email newsletter, right? Like email newsletters still rock. I make a lot of money off email. I'm sure you do too. Like I'm sure most of the people that are watching this summit got there because you sent them an email, right? Like email still works. So build up a newsletter. Do you really enjoy reading blogs, or maybe something like Substack, or do you want to write for a like an online platform like entrepreneur.com or Forbes.com? Like, so find the platform that most resonates with you. That's where you're going to see the most success. I know that I would fail miserably if I had to do TikTok because I just don't enjoy it. It wouldn't be fun for me. I wouldn't wake up and be like, got to film a bunch of TikTok stuff today. Like I wouldn't enjoy that. That doesn't sound fun to me. But being in the YouTube community, that is fun to me. I like the people there. I like the commenting. And what works for me doesn't necessarily have to work for you. There are people making a ton of money, getting a ton of clients on every single platform. It's not that one is better than the other. It's what's going to be best for you, for your situation, and what gets you a little excited. Because I'll tell you this, I talked about earlier, this world is hard, right? Like it is not easy to build this business. Once it all clicks, it starts to get a little bit more fun. But in those early dog days where you're working 18 hours a day and you feel like things aren't working the way that you want them to, you better be doing something that you kind of enjoy, right? To get a little bit of pleasure out of the pain of building an online business. That's going to help you get through your days and help it when you wake up in the morning to be like, you know what? I get to make content for an audience today. I'm going to help somebody today. And I can't wait to post this video on Facebook or Instagram or wherever I'm going to post it. I can't wait to share this with them because I know one person's going to read this and it's going to hit them. And to know that you can have that effect on somebody, that's going to be the driving force. And it's going to keep you going during those long days.
So what I hear you talk about is also to be consistent about something. So if I want to start a new YouTube or Facebook channel or doing something, producing content, for example, video, because like you said, video is the easiest for me. I was terrible in video before, but I'm more terrible to write. So, but how often should I post it? Like, how do I get this momentum start to go? You talked about Gary Vee, who had 1,000 episodes before you get it. So how often and how long do they need to be? And do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a mistake that I see so many entrepreneurs when they dig into content make is they go in and I'm going to go every single day, right? Whether it's a podcast or video, I'm going to do it every day. And then by day 6, they quit because it's really hard to create a lot of content when you're just getting started. My recommendation is always, if you can post at least one piece of brand new original content every week, when you get started, that's going to create some momentum. And it also isn't going to take 100% of your time. If you start creating daily stuff, like a daily podcast, John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneurs on Fire, daily podcast, do you know how much time that takes? That's 7 interviews, right? So if that's just the interview time, that's 7 to 10 hours every single week, just doing the interviews. Well, then you got to book the guests. You got to find the guests. You got to edit the shows. You got to post them. You got to write the description for them. Well, then you got to promote them, right? Then you got to market it. You got to create the graph. That's a full-time job, just podcasting 7 days a week. Guess what you didn't do? You didn't have any sales calls. You didn't do any coaching calls. You didn't do any marketing to get coaching calls. You're not working on your funnels. You're not doing all the other things that actually generate the revenue. In the beginning, YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is, isn't going to make all of your revenue. It's another stream to get you out there, to get you known so that people can get into, again, whether it's a funnel or a phone call or however your sales process is. So if in the beginning, if you can commit to one piece of original new content every single week, let's do some math real quick. After 1 year, you've created 52 pieces of original content. That's pretty cool, right? The other coaches that you're competing against, they probably aren't creating that much. After 2 years, you've got 104. After 3 years, 156 pieces of content. Now we're getting somewhere. But let's say you just do it for 90 days, 3 months, and you've got 12 videos out there, and you start to see some momentum, and you went from 10 views to 100 views to 300 views in like 90 days. Well, now what if you say, hey, what if I do it this twice a week? Right? And now you're posting on Mondays and Thursdays and you're going twice a week. Well, now in a year, you're going to produce 104 videos. If you put out 104 videos on YouTube, just on the subject that you are the best in the world to talk about, fitness, business coaching, relationships, dating, like whatever your subject is, and you have 104 videos, that's amazing. Someone goes to your YouTube channel and they're like, oh my God, Johnny, you got 104 videos all about gardening. You must be a gardening expert. Well, and those 104 pieces of content, guess what? You're probably also going to email your list 104 times to say that a new video just came out. You're going to share on social media that you just posted a new video. So that's 104 Facebook posts, 104 tweets. So those 104 videos become 400, 500, 600 pieces of content that you've put out and published over the course of a year. That's twice a week. So you don't have to go 7 days a week. You go twice a week and you start sending it out via email. You start sharing it. Maybe, especially if you're doing interviews or involving other people. Well, I'm going to share this interview. I'm going to make sure that people know about this summit coming up. So we did this interview, and now I'm sharing it to my audience, and I'm driving people to you guys. So now you get other people sharing your content. That's the game. So the game is finding a consistent rhythm. And I think once a week to start would be amazing. Then once you see that momentum, yeah, let's jump into 2 times a week. Notice I didn't say go from once a week to 7 times a week. That's impossible to maintain over a long period of time. Once a week. The second side of it is you can also batch record these. So this is probably, and I'm not the first to say this, and you guys have probably all heard this before, but if you're going to go once a week, let's say that's 5 videos a month. There's 5 Mondays in this month. Can you shoot all 5 videos in one shot? So that way you get dressed up. If you're a female, you get the makeup done and get your hair done. You look great. You only have to do that once, right? You shoot 5 5-minute videos. That's 25 minutes. So you block out an hour and you have your entire month's worth of content done. And now the rest of the month, guess what you can focus on? Client acquisition, customer acquisition, your front end, your back end, email marketing, funnel design, like all the other pieces that are so important to building your coaching and consulting business. Now, again, you've set aside an hour or 2 once a month to creating content, building your brand, and the rest, 39 hours that week and then 40 hours for the rest of the weeks. You got a lot of time to be building the business and not focusing on the content side. That's how I would think about it.
Before we went live, we talked about this high performance. So I have a question when you talk about 1 hour per week. How do you do it in your business on using your time right? Like how much time do you use on different things? Like we talk about content creation, we talk about funnel building, we talk about marketing, we talk about sales. So do you have any formula for how entrepreneur who maybe are alone or just a small team should divide their time to get most out of it? So be a top performer or high performer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure like you and like everybody who's watching, I think about this stuff 24/7, 365, right? Like my brain never shuts off. But what I've done is I've created a really good capture mechanism. For the last forever, I've used Evernote, and now I've just switched to a software called Notion. It doesn't matter which software. You could use Google Docs. You could use, a notebook for all I care, right? But have a place where whenever an idea comes up, whenever you think about, oh, that would be a cool idea for a video or a podcast or a Facebook Live or whatever it is, have a place where you can capture these things so that all month long, you have this idea capture place. So when it's time to record, you don't have to think. You don't have to be that creative. You don't have to be that smart. You don't have to it's hard for a lot of people to flip that switch, be creative right now, film 4 videos. But if all month you're gathering these ideas and you're letting your subconscious work, when it comes time for that filming day, for me, I open up my Notion and I look at my video ideas and I just go in and I say, what do I want to talk about today? Cool. Boom, boom, boom. I see my 4 or 5 ideas and I just go and I film. The second thing when it comes to that is obviously only talk about things that you're an expert at, right? Like if you're a dating coach, don't film a video about having 6 viral videos on TikTok, right? Because that's not your area of expertise. Stay in your lane because that's going to attract the clients that you want in your business. So one is all month, have this capture system so that you're capturing all these ideas so that when it comes time to film, you already have ideas in place and your subconscious has been working on these so that when it's film day, boom, you are ready to go. So in my own business, I do what I just talked about. I only film once a month now. I film in my kitchen. And it's great for my wife because I say, hey, this one day, get out of the kitchen, get the kids out of here, and I'm going to film. And we film once a month. I have my Ricardo, who's my videographer, comes over. He sets up. And in about 2 hours, we film the entire month's worth of content. We spend about 30 to 45 minutes filming just straight up content, like just a teaching video for YouTube or just, the content that we've been talking about. And then I spend about an hour filming new ads. So new ads for Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, different hooks, different angles, what ads are performing, what ads are not performing, and then what new creative do we need to create for those? And in about 2 hours, once a month, I have all of my content done. and all of my new ad tests that we're going to run for the month. We do that in 2 hours. He edits everything, so I don't edit them. And I recommend, like, again, if you're at a place where you're just starting your business, you probably are the cameraman and the editor and all of that. But as fast as you can, you know, to get somebody to come to your home to shoot for 2 hours. One of my secrets is finding wedding videographers. So they usually film on the weekends, right? Like a wedding is usually on like a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday. They're not doing anything on a Tuesday. So for them to come over and do like a half day shoot on a Tuesday, it might only cost you $100, $200 tops. And they come in, they set up the lighting, they set up the cameras so that you get to be the performer. Remember, you're the coach, you're the consultant, you're the star of the program. Let them come in and do that work. The edits on these videos, guys, it's not rocket science. It should be trim. You should have an intro that's probably already created and a call to action at the end of the videos. So the editing on this, you're not editing a motion picture, right? So the edits on this, you can have somebody on Fiverr do it, somebody on like Upwork do this, or the same wedding videographer, you can have him cut the videos. So I spend about $200 for my camera guy to come and film. And then I spend another $200 to have all of those videos edited, all the ads and all the content. So for $400 every month, I have all of my content created and all of my ads created for $400. And I'm done. I had spent 2 hours on camera. Now the rest of the month, we deploy all of that. Because as you kind of asked with the question, my best use of my time is now getting my content seen, running the ads, creating the funnels, being on the phone with prospects, coaching, doing what I love to do, like actually talking to clients and helping them to improve their life. If I'm at 2 o'clock in the morning editing a video, that's the worst use of my time. Like because I'm terrible at it. But B, my best use of my time is in the marketing side, in getting more people to see the video. If more people see the video, more people are going to click into my funnel. More people click into my funnel, I'm going to get more phone calls. The more phone calls I get, the more clients that I can help, I can serve. And it's going to allow me to make more money in my business. So I allocate 2 hours once a month to the whole content side. And then the rest of my time is big ideas, marketing, improving the funnels, sales calls, all of the stuff that actually generates revenue in my business.
Can you give some tips about, or talk about some home run thing you have done and how they was created and why they become a home run, like a video or a content part or something?
So I believe that home runs come as a result of taking a lot of at-bats. I'm a big baseball guy. I know it's mostly US based, but we play baseball, cricket, different sports all around the world. The more times you get up to bat and you swing the bat, the more opportunities you have to hit a home run. But more often than not, it's going to be a strikeout. It's going to be a single. It's going to be a base hit. Maybe it's a double. And guess what? Those singles are still really profitable, right? And that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. You might have a video that got maybe only 300 views, but if you got 2 clients out of that video that maybe paid you $5,000 each, you made $10,000 from a video that took you 5 minutes to film. While that's not $1 million launch, I think that's a home run. I think that's excellent. I think that was a very, very good use of your time. So you need to take as many at bats as you possibly can. What I think the mistake people make is they only create one video. They only have one ad. They only have one follow-up email. Like, 1 is the worst number in business. I want to have as many opportunities as physically possible. So when I talk about those ads that I film, I'm filming, another 10 ads to try to beat the 2 or 3 ads that are currently working. I'm trying to get as many at bats as I possibly can. Now, out of those 10 new ads, guess what? 7 or 8 of them are going to be strikeouts. One of them is going to be like a single that's going to break even. One of them is maybe going to be a double, a triple, maybe a home run. The other side of that is that you don't know which one is going to be the home run, right? Like, I'm sure even in your business, you're surprised. You put up an ad and you're like, that's the one? That one is the one that worked? So the home run that worked for us last year is one that I thought was not going to work at all. So we had just shut down our studio. COVID was this is beginning of COVID last year. And I'm sitting in my bedroom right here, right where I am today. And we have a front end product for our ambitious video planner. It's just a little video planner. It's got 52 video ideas and an outline that we share with people to create their first video. And I wanted to create some new Facebook ads to try to get more people to buy this video planner. And I literally just pulled up my phone. I'm like, this is never going to work, but I need something. And I shot a selfie video and I'm just like, hey, if you're at home, just like me, and you're like working in your bedroom and you need to shoot videos, let me show you how. And it was like a 30-second video. It was, shot selfie style. It's shaky. It was the worst, probably the worst production wise video I've ever shot. We sold 3,000 video planners in 60 days using that one ad. And if you would have bet me $1 million that would have been the one that won, I would have told you that you were crazy, because we had ones from the studio. We had fancy ones. We had the one over the top where I'm like writing on the planner. We had these time-lapse videos. We had all of these professionally produced videos. It was this cheesy one where I'm like, hey, if you're like stuck at working at home, just like I am, and you're in your bedroom and you're like, how do I shoot videos? I want to show you how in this new video planner. I would have called you crazy. But here's the thing. I took an at bat. I took a shot. I created something, I put it out, and I didn't judge it. I let the marketplace judge it, right? I think that's the other thing, going back to the ego we talked about earlier. We're our own worst critic. I hate all of my videos. I bet you watch some of your own videos and you like cringe while watching them. Yeah. Guess what? Your audience doesn't. Your audience doesn't. Your audience either loves it, watches it, consumes it, and takes action, or you know what they do? They just scroll past it, right? They're not analyzing it and like every second and cringing over every word. We're our own worst critic. We need to get over that, and we need to publish as much as we can. You filmed 4 videos for this month, and the second video you're like, it's not my favorite video I ever shot. As long as it passes that good enough factor, put it out there, because that might be the one that takes off. So don't be scared to publish content. Home runs come as a result of putting out a lot of stuff. I know with Todd, the home runs come when they put up 100 ads and one of the 100 wins. He's not 1 for 1. No one in this business goes 1 for 1. They have one video, one ad, one funnel, and it just like miraculously worked. That's not how this business works. It works by producing a lot of stuff, finding that needle in the haystack, that one home run out of 20 at bats that's going to put us on the map. So produce more to find that home run.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also, what we are teaching is building the first funnel or creating a funnel or doing all that, and that's what we're doing. And many comes and saying, oh, this was not working. And then they just give up. And it's like, hey, we didn't succeed with the first funnel either. It's like there's always some work and it can improve, but if you never give up, it will get there. So what kind of motivation can you give to coach and consultant that are listening now? They have given up in a way. They're like, oh, this is not working. So what can you tell them to move on? Like you're saying, push through. And yeah.
Know that there is somebody right now who is suffering, who is in pain, who has a problem. You're the one that can solve that for them. And by you quitting, giving up, giving into fear, not taking action, you're not helping that person who needed your help today. That's your motivation. That's your inspiration. I know that I tell this to a lot of people who are going through a slump. Maybe they're going through a tough time. Maybe they're burnt out. Maybe they're facing anxiety. As a coach or consultant, do you know how we get the most high? When we help a client, right? Like when you guys help somebody to build their first funnel and they were facing adversity and every problem, every tech challenge was exploding, and then their funnel goes live, you guys probably feel like $1 million and the client feels like $1 million. As coaches and consultants, that's where we get the most high, is that feeling of helping someone. So if you are feeling like giving up, if you feel like it's not worth it, if you feel like this isn't your calling and maybe you should go back and get a job, you shouldn't. Go help somebody today. Help somebody for free. Go do a Facebook Live and say, hey, if anybody's facing a challenge in their business, why don't you jump on with me live and let me help you today? No strings attached. Just that feeling of helping somebody is now going to give you like, holy crap, I can do this. I just helped a stranger on the internet. I need to push through. I truly believe that if you were meant to do this as a coach and consultant, somebody is crying in pain. They're suffering. They have a problem that they just don't see any way out of. You're the person for them. But by you not putting yourself out there, by you hiding in the shadows, by you wishing it was easier, by you saying, oh, that's not for me, you're letting somebody have more difficulty in their life and challenges in their life because of your own insecurities. That's not cool. That's not why you were put on this earth. That's not why you were felt to be called into whatever profession that you have. go help that person. And the paying clients will come. It might not be overnight, but just the sheer fact that you're going out there and helping people, it's going to give you that confidence and that momentum that you need to build a really, really awesome business.
Another thing was a big challenge with creating content and finding right place to put it, and it's all these changes. So last year or this year also, there are coming new changes with Facebook. There is coming iOS 14, iOS 15. There's like we don't get data anymore. It's all this thing. How do you, in your company and with your client, how do you keep yourself motivated to don't give up when these things are coming? Because for someone, it's like, yeah, it's also happened to us. One day, the Facebook ad account was closed down. My Facebook personal profile was closed down. And I've been living on Facebook ad. It's like, yeah, what happened now? Will I be dead tomorrow? How do you keep going?
I think it's okay to be upset, to be angry, to be sad in the moment, right? Your Facebook account gets shut down. Scream for a second. Totally cool, right? Throw your computer, like do it, like, but then you need to get over it, right? The issue is that you are reliant on one. If you're only running Facebook ads and you have no other traffic channel, if Facebook does shut down, your business is very, very vulnerable to whatever Facebook does. You're dependent on them. But if you're running Facebook ads and you've got a podcast and you've got an email newsletter, well, if Facebook shuts down, your podcast now gets to pick up some of the slack, and your email gets to pick up some of the slack while you either fix Facebook or find another traffic source. And that's why I love media. That's why I love creating your own platform, is because you own it and you control it, right? Like when you're publishing your own videos, not from a paid standpoint, but you have, YouTube, and you've got 1 million followers on YouTube. Even if YouTube shuts you down, those 1 million people will follow you somewhere else, follow you into the next platform. If you have a big email list, that's yours. You get to own and control it. So the more that you can own and control your own platform, the more you own and control your own destiny, and you're less dependent upon a Facebook. Facebook iOS, whatever it was, 14, 15, like whatever the big one was that screwed everybody up, it shut our business down just like everybody else's. But it didn't shut our entire business down because we still had email. I was still putting out videos. We were still buying email blasts from different email providers. So yes, it stung, but it didn't take our business down. And so the moral of the story, again, I said it earlier, 1 is the worst number in business, but secondarily, the more that you can own and control your own media, the more control you have over your business. So the whole point of doing Facebook ads in the first place is to what? Build a list, right? Like you're running Facebook ads so you can take people off of Facebook and get them into your world, into your community, whether that's ManyChat or email or SMS or whatever you're doing. The goal is over time. Yes, we still want to use Facebook ads. We still want to be profitable with paid traffic, but at some point we want to own and control as much media as we possibly can. And that gives us the ultimate leverage in this business. And that's going to give you the most control, the most freedom, and the most, I don't care what Facebook does, right? Because there's other people out there. There's other platforms out there. And guess what? I got a list of 30,000 people that want to hear from me that I can just send them stuff whenever I want to.
You have a super cool company name. You're also super cool what you have done with the documentary. It's like called Ambitious. And I love that name because it says so much. And you said before we started that one of your passion is to help people to be top performer, and also your company name is based on that. So can you tell me what makes you so passionate about that? What is like your drive for getting people to be top performer and also being more ambitious?
Yeah, there's 2 sides of it. One is that as a kid, I didn't grow up like poor in a trailer or like anything like that, but I was definitely lower middle class. And if I wanted something, it was up to me to go out and do it. So at 14, I had my first job at Target as like a stock boy. I was waiting tables, I was bussing tables, like whatever I could, because I wanted more from my life. I knew that I was the one who was in control of my life if I took control, that it wasn't anybody else. It wasn't my parents that were going to help me. And my parents were great. Love my parents, but they weren't, financially able to support me in the ways that I wanted to. So I always knew that I was the one who was responsible for creating my own future, my own life. And that's kind of where that ambition kicked in. As a kid, it's wanting to be an athlete. I want to be the baseball player on the professional baseball team. Then it was in the music world. I want to be on MTV, and I want to be a performer, and I want to be a star in front of all these people. And then in the business world, it's just this ambition to know that I wasn't put on this earth just to go through the motions, right? That I wasn't put on this earth just to wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to sleep. That we were all meant for more. And I saw, especially as I became a dad, so many people who fell into that trap. When we're younger, especially like in university years, we're partying all night long. We're, we have like an internship. We have a job. We are playing 3 different intramural sports. We're a part of a fraternity. We're doing like 97 things, right? And our life is amazing because of all these people and communities and different activities that we do. And then we graduate university, we get a job, and we feel like our life stops. Now I have to work for the rest of my life. And there's no fun except on Saturday and Sunday, and 2 weeks a year. I wanted to really help people and show them that we can create our own path in life, but it's up to us in order to do it. We have to make that decision to say, you know what? I want more from my life. And I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a sales rep, if you're a 9-to-5er, like I don't care what your profession is. I don't care how much money you make. I just want you to understand that you can do more, you can be more, but it's up to you to make that decision. That's ambition to me. Ambition is just knowing that we can make tomorrow better than our todays when we make that decision to do it. Those are the high performers that I want to be around. I don't care if you make $30,000 a year, but if you love your job and you love coaching people on the side, or coaching youth sports or whatever it is, you're amazing to me. It's not a financial win. You don't have to make millions of dollars to be ambitious. You just have to want tomorrow to be better than today and take it upon yourself in order to do that. And I really believe that. And I want to empower as many people to do that as possible. And whether that's business, lifestyle, performance, I just want people to take control of their own lives in whatever way that they can, right? I know the governments are crazy right now. The world is crazy right now, but there's still things that you can do to make your life better tomorrow than today. And I want you to find that. And that's really what Ambitious is all about. And we're trying to find people, open them up, right? Like finding your voice, finding your message, and helping other people. Like that's a crazy good ambition, right? Like filming a video, knowing that you're going to help somebody to live a better life. That's pretty damn ambitious to me. Like that is amazing. You're putting yourself out there at the betterment of others, which is ultimately going to make your life better. That's super cool. So we start there. Then it might be taking that leap from a 9-to-5 into a business. Maybe it's, growing and expanding that business. You can have more employees. You can impact more people in their families and their lives. It's just about making tomorrow better than today. And I really believe that most people are just going through the motions. And to me, that's not a great way to live when you have so much opportunity around you and in front of you. It's just up to you to grab it and shake it and do something with it.
Cool. So the last question I have for you, is there anything coaches and consultants in Europe I should know, or something I'm not asked about that you want to tell them?
It's a quote by David Ogilvy, who's a advertising legend, has some really great books on just advertising. One of the first ad men. And he says, you can't save souls in an empty church. And what he means by that, and what I take from that, is that you can have the best of intentions and you could be the best. You have the best information and insights and value that you could give to people. But if you don't have an audience, it's going to go to waste. All of that talent that you have, all of that experience that you have, don't waste it. Build an audience. Fill up your church so that you can preach to them. You can help them. You can change their lives. You can't save anyone if there's no one paying attention to you. That's the most as a coach. Now, that might only be 10 people. I only want 10 clients at $10,000 and I make my 100 grand. That's totally cool, but you still need those 10 people. And in order to get to those 10 people, you probably needed 1,000 people to become 100 people to become 10 people. You can't save souls in an empty church. Fill up your church, however big you need it to be. It could be a small little local community church. It could be a mega church with millions of members. Doesn't matter. Fill up that church. And this is not a religious thing. It's just a metaphor to say that you can't help anybody if nobody knows that you exist so that you can help them. Go build that audience so you can help and impact as many people as possible.
Cool. Thank you so much. It's so inspiring to talk about it. I get inspired and to do even more when I listen to you. So, and thank you so much for your time and taking your morning to do this interview with us. And I will so sure give you feedback on what the comments are. And yeah, so thank you so much for doing this, Greg.
Thank you. And guys, if you got anything from this, just send these guys some love, right? Just have more people come to this summit, because the bigger, this is their church, right? This summit every year, I know it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Fill this thing up for them. If you're getting value, whether it's from me or any of the other speakers, they do an amazing job. I know how much work goes into this. So go on social media, share a picture of this and tag these guys. I know how much work goes into this. I know how much work you put into these. So thank you for putting this together and helping inspiring so many people.